Surprise, y'all. Look who I got here. Welcome to my channel, Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy, James, where I'm here to give y'all my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. It ain't gonna happen. Thank you, Maurice. It ain't gonna happen, but that's okay. We're gonna live to fight another day. Y'all, look who I got with me. So starting off, we got Keywan _J _TV in the building. We got my girl Shana _MCD TV in the building, y'all, and of course my co-host Mrs. Best, who's always here with me. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Thank you, ladies, so much. Y'all don't know how much of an honor this is to have all of y'all here, my favorite ladies on YouTube. This is awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. So yes. So how we gonna start this off for y'all? We're gonna say, hey, make sure you guys follow everybody that you see here. Everyone's information is in my description box, of course. So make sure you guys, if you do not follow, you're not subscribed, make sure you do so. Subscribe. We're all trying to help each other in this YouTube universe. It is definitely something that it's harder for up and coming YouTubers. The people who've already figured out the secret to the sauce ain't sharing. So we have to help each other. That's how I look at it. That's how I see it. I'm going to forever do so, especially because Shana was one of the first to ever really embrace me as a YouTuber and kept me going. Keywan just joined my life and already is a pillar in my life already. So I thank her for that. And y'all know Mrs. Best down there. She always got my back. We've been riding, y'all. This year will officially be 20 years that we have been friends. 20 years. Yes. So yes, it's crazy. 2026. This is my first video of the year, y'all, of 2026. So I have to kind of shout it out like that. And what an honor it is to have y'all here. So let's get started with Love and Marriage Huntsville. So before we begin on the notes, I wanted to ask each one of you, Shana, I'm gonna start with you. How did you enjoy the episode? Did you feel this episode was different from any other episode we have gotten?
No, because I feel like we've had these conversations before. So how many times can we beat a dead horse? But you know what? I'm glad it's something else other than Nell. Even though they try to squeeze in that Nell and Tisha beef, and we could have did without that. But I'm so tired of that. I think I'm just tired of the Scotts in general. Like, we just need a recast. I'm tired of having the same conversations every single season.
Yes. I agree. Kiwa, how about you? How did you feel about the episode?
It was fine. It was just, again, like Shana said, it's the same thing. We're talking about the same thing. So.
All right, Mrs. Best, how about you?
I don't like this show, so it's very. I'm trying, y'all.
Hence why I left her for last. I knew she was going to say that. I knew she was going to say that all the time, but that's okay. She ain't got to like the show to review with me.
It's always like with Love and Marriage Huntsville, I'm always like, wow, what the hell? Or just like, why is this on TV? If I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm.
Same with this episode.
So for those of y'all who have been rocking with me, y'all know everything about me. So I'm going to say it like this. I had to watch this episode about 5 times. The reason being of why I had to watch it 5 times is because this episode was very triggering for me. I'm going to announce here to everyone, I am newly single. Me and my fiance have decided to part ways, and there was a lot of things talked about that I could relate to in my own relationship. Surprisingly, I didn't think the Scotts could do it, but yeah, I realized I have a lot of similarities. So in finding all that, it was really hard for me to get through it. It was really hard, especially with Maurice's segment. That was very hard to get through. So I'm just coming from a space that some of this is going to be vulnerability for me. So I ask everyone be patient with me as I try. And y'all know my noisy background. All these motorcyclists are here. So please excuse that if y'all hear it. So let's get started. So Tisha meets with Marcel at the new SCO office. Now, keep in mind, because I was confused when I first watched this, this is not the office she has been complaining about. She is opening Scott Realty, and that's what she's been talking about this whole time. So SCO is their construction company that Tisha owns, that Marcel works out of, and he's getting that completed. So Tisha comes in saying it's all nice, everything is good, but, you know, she wants her office to be done because she's tired of working from home. She said they're in a very small space. There is 5 of them at home, and he needs to, you know, get a few things done. They need to finish Scott Manor. They need to finish her office. And overall, Tisha just tired. She feels that if these projects were done, things would be better. And I'm just looking at Tisha like, really, Tisha? This is what your complaint is? First of all, let me give my opinion before I ask these lovely ladies theirs. I don't think y'all have the money to complete all these projects at one time, first off, because if y'all did, they would be done by now. And then two, I kind of feel like, well, why don't you work more and hire somebody else? And since Marceau, his plate's so full, take that off of his plate and do something different. So that's my thing. I feel like she's doing way too much. And I was actually on Marceau's side. I can't believe I'm saying that. But I was actually on Marceau's side with this because I'm like, look, he only can do so much. So, Keywan, I'm gonna ask you first. Do you feel like Tisha was going overboard with this, or do you feel that she was in her right to have these many complaints?
I do feel like she was in her right. I do understand Marceau's side. I just think she want to get out of the house. That's just what I think. I think she's been a stay-at-home mother for like so long that she want to be able to go to a place of work and then come home rather than work from home. So I think she was well within her rights. I just don't like how you be trying to play in her face.
Shana, how about you?
Well, first, let me say I'm sorry to hear about the breakup, James. Definitely sorry to hear that. And I think Tisha was well within her rights too. I agree with Keywan, only because, first of all, let's not forget that she had an office that he just gave to some random man. So you kicked me out of my office, had me going to Starbucks working, trying to find somewhere to go. Like Keywan said, she's been a stay-at-home mom. I don't even know she's working on. I don't even know she actually has something to do. But she just wants to get out of the home. Let her. And this is your wife. This should have been a priority. I mean, yeah, you already got her living in this townhouse or this apartment or wherever y'all at. The least you can do is give her a workspace. Like, you've been saying he's going to do this for years. He can't get anything done. Kimmy also says he's very slow with his projects. Like, prioritize one, get it done, and then move on to the next one instead of trying to do everything at one time.
I agree. I agree with that completely because I feel like either do one project at a time, or Tisha, you need to outsource to get your building done if this is really what you want to do. So from what I understand, what someone told me through the grapevine is that she actually is trying to become a broker. So that's what she's trying to do. So I don't know how true that is, but that's what I heard around the curve. So Mrs. Bess, what is your opinion on, whose side are you leaning on, Tisha's or Marceau's with the whole building thing?
I'm not on either person's side. I personally don't feel like you should. Not everybody can work with their spouse, and this is why, in my opinion. I do agree with Shana. Like, I haven't watched this show since season 1, but it seemed like since I've watched this show, Marceau is always working on projects, and I never really see anything finished. So I'm gonna assume he takes a minute to finish things. But at the same time, do one thing at a time for Marceau. He definitely needs to, but he's probably too much of a man to admit that he needs to do one thing at a time. I feel like he's cutting corners on staff to like save on cost and stuff. I just do, because my dad does what he does. And sometimes people do that. But I also feel like with Tisha, it's like, you should know your husband. You should know your husband. I don't care if you've been with him for 5 minutes, 5 months, 5 years. You should know your husband. If you see that the nigga's not getting the work done, then maybe stop asking his black ass and get off your ass. Since your kids are older, there's not as much to do at home, and go get your own office. I'd stop asking him, because it's not worth the fight, in my opinion. But,
I don't think they can afford it. He made mention that he has to focus on what's bringing in the money over what's costing the money.
And that was my point. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going on with their finances. I definitely don't feel like anybody on this show has the most in income, especially with who's left. I think the real money is gone from this show. But whatever it is, they need to figure it out. And if money is the problem and they're married and she's aware of that, then she's wrong.
I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Does he have separate employees, like people that are building on the manor the imaginary manor, I guess. Is it
What?
from Shana?
The imaginary manor is crazy.
I just want to know because we heard about the manor so long ago,
Mhm.
and I kind of like the house that they're in. I think she wants to live just outside of scope. I think she want to live way above her means. I didn't see nothing wrong with the house that they are currently in. I don't know. I
feel like Tisha is forever trying. I did watch seasons 1 and 2 of this show, and I feel like she's forever just trying to prove herself and to keep up with the other women on the show. I genuinely do. She seemed hella insecure to me.
She is.
She just does. Everything she does seems insecure. I also don't like that she don't have much of a neck, but she definitely needs to figure out what she wants to do, how, come up with a budget, hire a financial somebody, but I don't know. And Marcel probably is hiring out. That's what most people would do. Mm-hmm. But I feel like he'll get done what he wants to get done when he feels like it.
Yeah, it's just not a priority. He probably feels like they have a place to live. Yeah. I mean, word on the curve was that they was separated or something anyway, allegedly. Didn't they say they were and they glossed over that last season?
They did. They were like, okay, so what the blogs had said and what the word around the curve was they were separated, which is why Tisha had to move into that 3 and 2. Right. That's what the word around the curve was. And then it came out that realistically they were trying to renovate the house, which they did. But I don't know. See, for me, with them, everything just seems so inauthentic with them that I don't know what to believe, what not to believe. Like on Christmas, they took a picture in front of the construction site, and we're supposed to assume that was Scott Manor. So it's like they don't really know. Like they're not doing a good job of delivering to us.
Who's gonna go in their house when it's done? The kids is grown, and if I was them kids, I would want to get the fuck away from my house.
We got one more that may be hanging on by this. That looked like AI to me as well. That picture that they was posing in front of it. That's just allegedly. But I don't know. Them shrubs and twigs and trees and bushes that they call Scott Manor. I think it's just a principle. He said he was going to do something. He just keeps saying he's going to do something and he's not delivering. So for me, it's just a principle. Like it might be a cute townhouse or whatever, but you told me that you were going to build this and you're not following through with anything. So yes, she should know her husband, but he needs to stop making empty promises. It should take 20 years to build an office. At least build her at-home office and make it comfortable at the house if you're going to make her stay there.
That's what I feel like too. I feel like, well, this is one thing. Why not keep that house as a rental property and get a much bigger home and then just rent that house out or maybe invest in the second home too? That's why I say it feels like the money's just not there.
And also, they were doing that. Remember the last house they said they were living in was supposedly their rental property, but that wasn't their rental property. It was just a house.
Oh. Right. No, I remember that too. But I'm just saying, like, for the optics of it being her complaint of such a small space, why not just get a bigger home? But like we said, the money just might not be there. I feel like what they're doing, I feel like they're playing Monopoly, you know, the Scots and whoever else. I feel like they're playing Monopoly where they have a set funds and they just deliver funds to whatever project they need done. Because Kimmy forever needs a space. Maurice forever needs a space. Like, I feel like we've been seeing them constantly build commercial properties. And I'm like, okay, are y'all building them? Like, remember when Destiny tried to get that whole lot of suites built on what Madani was on? I feel like that was another project. I think she ended up giving that to Martell at some point because that was another thing. So I don't know. Just their situation is weird. And the more that they kind of beat around the bush about it, it just gives y'all don't have the money y'all say y'all do. And this is why this is not getting done.
Not off that Carlos King salary.
And that might be, and maybe that might be the way they pay their bills. I don't know. But I'm just saying, for me, y'all been building this house since the show first started. And we are 8 years here today.
It's been that long.
They started in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, 17. I thought it was 2019.
Was it 2019?
I feel like it was before COVID.
Okay, well, it is 2026 today. So what is that? 6-7 years?
Yeah, it's still too long.
It's still too long. Yeah. How long it takes Sheree to build her house?
I'm not turning around in every state, like within months.
The Chateau Sheree Part 2.
Why did Sculpt need a new office anyway? Where were they working at before?
Who
Right.
knows? Like, probably the lease was doing too much, and they probably wanted to remove. And who knows? But yeah, like Kevin Reynolds said, they just be playing in the audience's faces. I just can't trust what they're doing. That's just what it is. So we're gonna move on, y'all. So Marie stops by Kimmy's office, another office, and they're talking about Monster. So apparently they had bought Monster a car because he got his grades up, and then the grades went back down. The car is just sitting there. And Marie says that Monster wants to be like Jalen, but he doesn't have the motivation. And he feels like that should be something that's natural because when he was a kid, it was natural for him to want more and do more. And I feel like that's kind of short sighted, sir. That's kind of ridiculous that you would say that. And then the second thing is, Kimmy did tell him, like, you can't expect him out of you, or you out of him, or something like that. One of those. And just because you see it one way doesn't mean that he has to do that. First of all, he doesn't have a foundation. You think the foundation is supposed to be internally, but really a foundation is external, and it starts with the parents. What are you embedding in your child for them to make those moves? And Maurice really didn't understand that. And I'm just like, the reason why Maurice doesn't understand that, Kimmy, is because he was late in life getting his careers together. Because let's not act like, he was an attorney this whole entire time. He just got that license while filming the show. And what kind of attorney is he? Does anybody know? Because I don't even know.
Isn't he an attorney?
What?
Isn't he a tax attorney?
Is it taxes? See, I thought it was real estate. That's what I thought it was. Does anybody in the chat wants? Hey, everybody, like, comment, and subscribe. Like the video. But do y'all know what kind of attorney Maurice is? The degree he got while on the show? Thank y'all. Like, if y'all know, put it in the chat for me so that way I know. So I'm gonna ask you ladies this because Keywan, I know you said you have a child. I know Shana has children. Me and Mrs. Best are childless. Do you feel that as a parent, the foundation starts with you as a parent guiding your children, or do you think that's just something natural that they should automatically have? And where would they get it from if that's the case?
No, I do think that we should, be a model example to our kids. But at the end of the day, I feel like when it comes to my two, they're older, they're 20 and 23. So they build their own now it's time for y'all to build your own foundation. I've done my part as a mother. I'm here in the background. So if y'all fall, I'm here to catch y'all. But anything else, the world is y'all's.
Okay. Shana, how about you?
Yeah, I think because after they grow, I don't look at that as a foundation. Like, you're grown, like the foundation is what's instilled in you when you're a child. So we should be forming the foundation. But I do agree, like, even with my teenager, I'm struggling with him with his homework and all that stuff as well, his grades. So it's like we do the best we can. After a while, when they start getting older, they're gonna do what they want to do. But if down, they'll come back around, they'll find their way, they have to go through their different things. But Maurice isn't involved like that. He's speaking like he's really involved. He's not involved. He should be more involved. That's why Jalen is not the same as, even though they grew up in the same household.
I think, and to eat off of that too, before I get Mrs. Best a point as well, because you brought up a really good point. He's not as involved. And I think that for me, Kimmy made sure that Jalen fell back on something, even if his original career, which I don't remember, I think he wanted to open up a restaurant, if I'm not mistaken. But she made sure he had things to fall back on. And she made sure she set the foundation that, yes, you're going to go to school. I'm covering it. So you're debt free and that you really have a fair chance to start. I know most parents can't really give that to their children, but that's something that she made sure to do, taking on extra nursing gigs to make sure that that was done. So I really feel like she set the prime example of the foundation, which is, like Keywan said, I'm here to fall back on you, but I'm here also to give you the leg up that I did not get. So I think that that's what it is. And for Maurice with Monster, because he's not involved, I think Monster, being 16, 17, he doesn't know which way to go because there is no structure like Kimmy gave Jalen. And I think when he sees Jalen, he's thinking, okay, well, Kimmy's going to give me that same thing. And it's not happening that way. That's what I see. So, Mrs. Best, I have to get your opinion on this too. We're the ones without children. Do you feel that a child naturally has the ability to be ambitious and everything? Or do you think that that is something a parent gives them?
I pretty much agree with what they said. I don't have kids. I don't really know if I want them, but I do know that for the most part, your parents can only do so much. I can just use myself as an example. Both of my parents have higher degrees. Not all of my siblings have degrees or have attempted college even. So I feel like all parents can do is maybe lay the foundation of like morals, ethics, teach kids about society. I could also fall back on school just a little bit, but essentially you look at science, psychology, talk to experts, any of that. Once kids get past that like late childhood stage and into being teens, like they are who they are, their personalities are set, they're just discovering what they have to discover and figuring out the world. I guess perfect example, like my husband, he did not do school at all, did not do anything in school. His mom was confused. Now today he decided to go to college and is a good student, has a great work ethic. So, you know, sometimes young people just do dumb stuff also. Sometimes they go through phases where they can't express themselves and they may be self-destructive. It's not always that they're not smart or don't care or lack ethics. Like they're still trying to figure themselves out. But I feel like Maurice been using this boy as his storyline for a very long time. He doesn't seem to want to talk about, from what I've seen on the show, because I have not been to day one like some of y'all, but from what I've seen since watching this show, it just seems like he's more concerned with showing the world that he is a present father versus actually being in the boy's life. Something you brought up that kind of made sense, the structure stuff. I do remember a couple seasons ago, I don't know how old it is because I'm bad with this show, but I do remember he was living with his mama and got ripped out of his stability to be brought to Maurice's house. So it's like that could very well
touch on too.
Yeah, well, that could be the problem. And I remember that, I think her name is Kiowa. I do remember watching that, and it's like you can say what we want to say and have our feelings about her situation and relationship with Kimmy and stuff. But she did seem to provide her child with stability. But Maurice's ego, it just seemed like he's not going to be on TV without his kid around. He's just not. And if your kid doesn't want a car, like a teenager is not motivated to do better by a freaking vehicle, that it's like ding dong, maybe call a family therapist, go dig into it more, because it's definitely something deeper than just
let him go back with his mom, but he won't. Like you said, he won't do that. His ego won't allow, because he has a stepdad over there. So it's not like there wasn't just Kyle remarried. So it's not like there's not a male presence in the home.
Right.
He's happier.
That's right.
But he's just too selfish. Like you said, you're going to bring him over here because he's a teen. I'm not opposed to a teenage boy living with his dad. But if you're not going to be involved and put everything on Kimmy, who didn't want him to come for that reason, it's not beneficial for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
He probably is aware of how Kimmy was feeling in the earlier seasons, complaining about having to basically start raising kids all over again.
The internet, these clips are out there forever, and I'll be tired too. She raised her child already.
Yeah.
To marry him, and now I got to raise your child too.
And that's another thing. And as I said, and I say this to say that Maurice getting his law degree late, I feel like that's a contradiction of him saying, well, Monster has no motivation. Well, you didn't either, because why would you wait to 40 to get your law degree? So why wouldn't you allow your son to have that same outlook if that's what he wanted to do? Because education doesn't come to most people.
This degree, I had no idea this was something he did on the show. This whole time, every time I'm watching this show, me and my husband be like, this nigga really be trying to sound smarter than he is.
I don't know if he's practicing though. Like, you have a degree and you're not practicing law. And then, I mean, there's plenty of people who are successful that don't have degrees, but I'm not calling him, I don't call him Monster. I'm not doing that. That might have been a cute little name. They was calling him when he was 3, but he's 16 or 17.
Now, Kevin Reynolds, I was not going to say this. I was not going to put this out in the atmosphere like that. Like, I'm just saying, I'm not going to put there. Like, and I do agree with this too. Like, figure out what's important to him, and also figure out why his grades are not where they are. Like, figure out if there's something challenging at school that he's not comprehending, or maybe talk with him more. It seems like we don't talk to him enough, unless it's something to do with if he's dating somebody.
Right.
That would require Maurice to do the work. Oh, I'm sorry, Shana.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Keywan. What you say?
That would require Maurice to actually do the work if he figured out what's going on with Monster. Because the first thought I had was maybe he's just struggling. Have you checked? Like, it is too much like right. And to ask Kimmy is a lot because I've already asked her to raise my kids. So now I have to do the work. Maurice just gets on my nerves. I'm
Mine too.
I just
And we have
like what? He only talks to Maurice Jr. when he's, chastising him, disciplining him. He doesn't have no relationship with him outside of that. So why would he tell you what's actually going on and why it could possibly be causing struggling? They say they were in therapy. That's not doing anything. Like maybe he needs to pull the mom in and they need to work and start co-parenting, and maybe she can pull it out of him as long as he's talking to somebody so they can get down to the bottom of this. He's talking about he's not paying for college. He needs to get a scholarship. With those grades, he's not getting no scholarship. And it can't be for sports because you can't play sports with bad grades. And maybe he doesn't want to go to school. That's why I told my son to go and get a trade just in case. Because listen, you're going to be doing something.
That would make sense, actually, Charlene Willard. That would make sense, actually, if that's what he's doing. But still, that to me, it still looks like on TV that he's just wearing nice suits and walking around. It doesn't seem like he's actually doing the job. That's what I'm saying.
And so closed permanently, they said. So he's not. He told Kimmy to quit nursing. So what else are y'all doing?
Maybe they are. Maybe you can live off of owns Carlos King Productions checks. Maybe you can live off of them. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much it is. It can't be that much, but I don't know. I don't see it being Bravo money. I don't see it. I don't see it being that. So yeah, we'll see. So we're gonna move on, y'all, to Nell and Chris, unfortunately, because this thing got on my nerves. So Nell and Chris talk about Destiny's, little girl's trip away, even though they was only an hour away from where they were. She explains the whole picnic basket little project that Destiny wanted all the ladies to do. And she was talking about how Letitia had a snake in hers that represented Nell, and she felt a way about that. And Nell told them, I don't have anything in my basket because you ladies are not transparent with your life. So why should I be transparent about my life? And Nell said they wanted to know about the cheating. They want to know about everything. And I feel like they're not honest about what they're going through. So why should I be honest? Now, I do agree with Nell. I do agree with that part of it. They're not transparent. They're not saying what's going on. They're not talking about anything in pertaining with the blog sketch. They don't talk about any of that. So I do agree with Nell. Now, what I don't agree with Nell is that just because they're talking about you means that you need to start putting stuff out there. Because I don't feel like if the less they're putting stuff out there about you and whoever Chris was cheating with, I don't feel like that's fair for you to then say, okay, well, I'm going to put stuff out there about y'all and I know the real cheat. So, you don't want me to expose that. Like her saying that just means like, lady, that's kind of taking it too far. Just tell them to keep your name out their mouths and just be done with it. That's all you got to do. You ain't got to dig up skeletons and stuff because if they bring whoever Chris was messing around with, then it's going to be a problem. So, I'm just saying, let it be what it is. So I'm going to start with Mrs. Best. How did you feel about Chris's scene with Nell and her explaining all that?
I said it before. I'm going to keep saying it. Never trust the nigga that got a beard that's a different color from the rest of the hair on his body. I am telling y'all the truth. Do not trust him. Chris Fletcher, give me somebody shady as hell. He reminds me of somebody in Superfly, somebody who might have been on the Soul Train line dealing out the dope. He seems shady as hell to me, and I cannot get past this. Stop laughing at me, Keywan, because I'm serious. I say it all the time. It drives me crazy. I don't care for Nell or Chris Fletcher, but I don't blame Nell. I don't. I know people probably view it as too much, but my husband, you done been in his face, Tisha. You talking about me everywhere. Tried to send your nasty ass mama to check me, which we know we'll see. Like, Tisha, in my opinion, does too much. Then you showed that you weren't even going to make the attempt or put forth a real effort to be cool or at least cordial by bringing that stupid ass snake. So I feel like Tisha's one of those chicks who just, like, when she's miserable, she turns into a mean girl. I feel like that's just how she moves. So I don't blame Nell. If you want to keep talking to me and you want to be mad at me because of some shit that my husband's aligned with because your husband's doing some shit, then fine, let's talk about husbands. You want to talk about mamas, bitch, as they say, let's go all the way, unload the clip. Because Tisha needs somebody to do that. I don't like this lady. She's always doing something to somebody. So I feel like do what you got to do now. But I also don't like when people be like, because I could talk about this. You on camera. You already mad. She showed you she's not going to stop and don't give a damn. I would have unloaded the clip right there talking to my husband on camera, knowing it would air. So I feel like, Nell, if you're going to talk a big game, be about it. But I don't blame her. And I don't trust Chris Fletcher.
Nell could have put a block in her basket to acknowledge her having a daycare. Nell just chose not to. Damn. Shady said, but wants Nell to talk about her life. And that's my problem. Before I move on to go to Shana's opinion about that, that's my problem with the other ladies and everything. They won't Nell to expose that affair. Whatever that affair was, they won't Nell to expose it. And it's like, well, I wouldn't expose it until y'all expose Marceau's and Maurice's. I wouldn't expose anything until theirs get exposed. But Shana, how did you feel about that scene?
I don't care anymore. Like I just talking about it. Like, what else is going on? We talked about it. We rehashed it. Y'all don't like each other. Don't talk to each other no more. Like,
it's very simple.
With each other, just be cordial. Tisha said she can be in a room with people. Just be in a room, be quiet. Don't talk to them.
Mm-hmm. Keywan, how about you?
Oh yeah, I am over it. As far as Nell, girl, if she said, because she did this now, correct me if I'm wrong, she did say, I'm not worried about it anymore. If you're not, then stand on that and be that. And as far as like Tisha go, girl, just stop defending your husband. It's just.
Yeah, we're going to get into that in just a moment because some Marcel said was very profound that I feel like Tisha's not getting. And that's what happens when you get raised by Wanda. But, you know.
And I didn't like that Nell said that she got tea that she can spill on them. Like, stop with these threats.
Yeah.
Say it. Just say it. Otherwise, I don't care.
Drop it or shut up about it. I'm so tired of people doing that in general on reality TV. And why is this cast arguing with each other over what from their real life they're going to it's just making me look at all of them like, oh, so you all full of shit.
Yeah, because
these people arguing over. If you on reality TV, give us the reality of your fucking situation. You don't have to give us the reality of your life. But if the show is called Love and Marriage Huntsville, and you in Huntsville, and you supposed to be in a marriage which should involve love, then at the very least be forthright about that. But I also could give a fuck about anything that happened in the past that's not happening today.
Right.
People who are married. So this is why I be feeling like they don't have a show, because there's more that we could discuss other than the old lady beefing with somebody young enough to be her daughter. Like, it's unrealistic.
I agree with that. But then at the same time, I want Nell to do. I want Nell to leave the show. I really do. At this point, Nell has nothing else going on. I'm sick of Lance and him and Destiny. I don't believe that shit. I'm sick of, the other kids and her talking about y'all taking all my money and shit. Stop giving it to them. Like, the things that they're giving is, technically love and marriage because, the family foundation. But at the same time, it's common sense. Like, I want to see some shit I ain't never seen before from a marriage. Like, I want to see how we go through the struggle. Like, talk about your business. Are you in business together? What are the finances like? Like, how do I get past these situations if I'm experiencing this? That's what I think the show was supposed to be about when they were starting the comeback group and buying that 40 acres to build, townhouses or whatever it was for their community, low income housing. Where is that? So yeah, I'm just like, wow. Like, I'm so above talking about them every week, but I have to because there's nothing else. So, but is there anything else we want to add to Nell? Because I'm gonna move on from her with that bullshit ass scene. All right, so we're gonna move on to Tisha and Marceau, and something I just thought Tisha just pulled out her ass because I don't know why we had to see this. But Tisha invites a sex therapist. Her name was Nita. Shout out to Nita. Over there to help them with their relationship. Tisha kind of gives her a simple background story. They've been married for 19 years. They've been together for 20. They didn't date much in their relationship up until marriage. So they figured they would do that and learn each other while they're married, which is a very bad mistake. I just learned that in this relationship. So as they're explaining things away, Marceau walks in and he's confused. He doesn't know who this lady is. And he knocks over her whip and Tisha just gets to chuckling. And I said, oh God, here it comes. So he excuses himself, changes clothes, and comes back down there. And the conversation turns to Tisha saying, well, he, doesn't like intimacy. It always leads to sex and everything. And Marcel's looking at her like, no, I do love intimacy. I don't never not want it to lead to sex, but if it doesn't, I'm cool with that. I'm the one that's asking you for a hug. I'm the one asking you for affection. I'm asking that from you. Why aren't you giving that to me? And Tisha like, oh, okay, yeah, he does do that. I'm not affectionate or anything like that. Like, I didn't grow up with that. And I'm looking at Tisha like, so why did you set this up? Like, why would you set this up and set him up to make him look like it's something he's not doing when in reality, you're the one who isn't doing it? I said, Tisha, you could have kept this scene. You could have kept this in. I was glad he did clock her. I did. I was glad he did it because it was like, now I didn't know that about Marceau. Let's keep it real. Did anybody know that Marceau was this overly affectionate, always wanting Tisha's time? He didn't come off that way to me, y'all. Did he come off like that to you?
Probably with another woman.
Oh.
Right.
But no, I'm just saying, no, he didn't come off that way to me, but at the same time, he never said he wasn't like that. So for her to do that, I thought that was crazy. The lady has them go over, some exercises, all touching on them, whatever. And then it then turns into that conversation about, Nell and what happened. And pretty much her entirety of the show, she feels like she always has to defend him against an accusation. And he hits her with the, well, how do I feel about that? And she goes, you probably just don't care. He goes, no, I know the truth. I know what I do. And you're supposed to know that too, as my wife of all of these years. It's not about people are going to say what they want, but it's up to us to know the truth in our household and up for us to know each other so well that when someone says that, we should be able to laugh that off, not give it energy and not give it time. Now, in hindsight and in retrospect, he is correct. However, I do feel like he was gaslighting. So we're going to peel that apart now. So, Keywan, I'm going to start with you. Do you feel that he was gaslighting Tisha, or do you really feel like he was actually sincere in what he was saying?
I want to say he was sincere, but because there is always a history of gaslighting, I don't think he was sincere. I do think he mean it when he say, I don't care what people say about me, but I also think as a husband, I'm not married, of course. I just think that he needs to reassure this lady. Like, she's not getting a definitive answer from him. And I think that's all she wants. So he definitely was gaslighting her as per usual.
Mm-hmm. Shana, what about you?
Yeah, he was gaslighting her. He just wouldn't let up either. He wouldn't let it go. Like, okay, you made your point. The lady done left and you still talking about this? Like, we got it. You like affection. I think a lot of men do like affection and like to be touched. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't make me see him in a better light. Like, that doesn't make him look like a better husband because he wants a hug from time to time. Are you giving what you're asking for? She said she had a hard time with it. She didn't grow up being all overly affectionate. Did you talk to her about this before this happened? Or are you just waiting to be like, I always ask, like it was some kind of competition. It was weird. So I don't know. I feel like he was gaslighting her and she just sits there and does what she always does. She's gonna, like, she turns into like a little small child when she's talking to him. Like, she can't defend herself.
Mm-hmm. All right, Mrs. Best, your turn.
I feel like he was gaslighting her when discussing, like, not talking about not letting the audience interfere with their relationship. I felt like that was his way of trying to manipulate and gaslight her into, don't look into this rumor. Don't worry about what this person says. Trust me. When I'm a firm believer, where there's smoke, there's fire. I ain't never heard no rumors about my man cheating. I'm just saying. And if I ever do start to hear rumors, then to me, you cheating. I don't need to see it. I don't need to confirm it. It's like, no one's just saying stuff like that. So I feel like he was gaslighting her with that. However, I also feel like Tisha was full of shit as well. Baby, just because you didn't grow up affectionate does not mean you can't give affectionate. I'm that way in my own marriage. I had a fucked up childhood, which many people know who watch this channel. No affection, really. So, like, even saying I love yous for me is still sometimes awkward. But my spouse brought that up to me years ago, and I will make the effort and go past the discomfort to try and be affectionate toward him, right? So if you care about your man enough, you will hear what he's saying and try to make a change. I just think Tisha is done and is having a hard time finding a way to reconnect with him. I don't feel like her lack of affection was a problem prior. It seems like, because if you go back to season 1, his main issue is, oh, my wife who's been at home and has been good to me and for me is now suddenly want to go out and have a career and is hanging around Mel too much. So I feel like it's a little more of that, but I don't know. These two, I don't think they have like a functioning marriage anymore. I think a lot of people, especially in the Black community, like to stay married and stay in shit when it's dead, i.e. common law, things like that, or just not being together but staying legally married. But it's like, this is clearly dead, because if you are interested in your dude still, then this should be a simple fix. But I feel like people be staying in shit too long, trying to fix it because of time that they put into it versus accepting that something is done.
They definitely care about the time. They always brag about the time. But can we throw Tisha a bone? Like, I don't see him complimenting her. He won't wear his ring. He's not showing no affection. Why would I just be showing you affection? Like, why?
That's what I'm saying. She's done. Because from what I've watched on this damn show, I wouldn't be giving you hugs and kisses and welcome homes either.
And she also didn't have that upbringing, and it's harder for her. It's not natural to her, and he's not giving it to her. And then you'll wait until now to say, oh, wait a minute, I like it too. Have you been telling her, or did you wait till she got the intimacy coach? And now all of a sudden it's like, I've been asking too. This should have been a conversation. He could have even handled this better and been like, okay, well, you know what? I want intimacy. So do you. Let's try to work on this going forward. Instead, he just made it a tit for tat.
And obviously they've had this conversation before, because they kept mentioning the fact that with them, intimacy always leads to sex. And she seemed to feel that way wholeheartedly. And the way that he responded was like, no, that's not it. So I think also I think all of them Scott brothers, not to skip ahead, after Maurice's scene and some things that came up in that scene, like a shared magazine, that shit is not normal. I don't care what nobody say. I'm the firstborn girl in my family. Lots of men, they wasn't sharing magazines and things. So I don't know. I feel like they all have a negative, like, I don't think they have the ability to be in a relationship without having full control. I just don't.
I feel like she just didn't want to throw him under the bus. So she's not saying
Me too.
But there's no way that she just brought this intimacy coaching here, said that, and then it was just a lie. Like, I mean, she's lied before, but I don't think he's doing everything that he claims he's doing. They're trying to like change the trajectory of how we've been looking at him, because we know that he's a horrible husband. He's still a horrible husband. Like, y'all trying to paint him in this good light. It's not working. By letting Tisha
seeing that online, like people have been seeming like, oh, Marcel, he's rubbing on me this season. I'm like, what is wrong with the Love and Marriage Huntsville audience? He is awful.
He can give advice to everybody else, but when it comes to how he treats Tisha, and Tisha is annoying, but that's your wife. But see, they didn't know each other. Like, they got married, she got pregnant. Well, allegedly. She got pregnant, got married, and then it was just like, that's probably why she thinks that, okay, I had to keep having sex with him because that's how
I'm glad you brought that back, Shana.
Why you don't rush into marriage. And a lot of people be trying to force that shit. But honestly, I look at Tisha and Marcel kind of like Chloe and Lamar from years ago. Like, you could get married as fast as the fuck you want to, but if you do not know the person, child, the headache that it will be. Because it's hard enough being married and knowing somebody. I can't imagine.
Get to know somebody. Because this isn't the same Tisha she was 20 years ago when they met in college.
Right.
So you're always going to be getting to know her. But it's like, y'all just got married because she got pregnant, and y'all just stayed just for the sake of saying y'all stayed. But this is what it is. So the way she tried to explain when a lady came in the house, listen, you got pregnant, you got married, and now you just stuck with them. You feel like you can't leave.
Right.
And I wish she would stand on that, because the thing about it is, I wouldn't judge, like, because it's common in a lot of households where women stay with their husbands for the sake of the children because they're scared to go out there and do it on their own. A lot of women are scared to do it on their own. And I would rather her much say that than try to say, I still am in love with you. I'm still everything in this with you. And you're not showing that in your actions. And to pull back what Shana says, like, that's the reason why you don't marry somebody so quickly. And like Mrs. Best said, like, Chloe Lamar is a good example. You think you know everything about a person in that short period of time, or you know enough to say, I do, when realistically, she didn't even know Lamar, was on drugs like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that came out later, and then it's like, well, where was that hiding at? So you truly don't know somebody, but the thing about it is, that time to get to know them is to know the core extent of them. enough for you to say, okay, is this enough for me to stay with you? What are your bathroom habits? Like, can I live with you? Can I stay? That's why I told you I'm not opposed to living with someone early on, because I don't want to. I say my time frame is 6 months. I feel like if we're together for 6 months, we can sign a 6 month lease, still have our respected places, but get a place together and see if we could actually live with each other and do that. Because I don't know if I want to spend a year with somebody and live with them and then see all these habits, because I might have invested other feelings into them that I, you know, might overlook if I start living with them. So I think it's to do it not so early, but do it where there's enough trust in each other to say, okay, I'm gonna try this out, and if it don't work, you can always break the lease. That's all. That's all I say. So I just don't agree with that whole, especially not being in my situation, because we were 3 months engaged before we were going to get married. Like, we didn't know each other that well either. And then, kind of rewinding as I'm unpacking my relationship, I understand why there was so much hesitation from him and so much blockage. Now I'm starting to kind of unpack that, and I'm starting to see it a little bit differently. Telling my business, but not telling my business. It's a kind of situation. But
I was just saying I get it. But can I add something? I wanted to point out in this scene, as well as the other scene they had when it was at Schultz, that he's not a safe space for Letitia. I know we all know that. Because every time she wants to make a point, he'll talk over her, he'll play in her face. But I feel like she holds in a lot of things just because he's not a safe space.
Ooh, that's a great point to bring up, because I didn't even look at it like that. He's not a safe space for her. And I think that the fact that he ridicules her mindset, her being, her, trace of thought process, I think that for me, looking at that, now that you pointed that out, he's not a safe space for her. So when she's doing all of this immature stuff with these ladies and getting into it with them, and then comparing her marriage to everything, that's the outlet she uses to get that aggression out, because she can't bring that to them, because what he will do is gaslight her and tell her, oh no, it's not that, it's this, and that. Him and Maurice are really good at that, because Maurice does the same with Kimmy. I think the difference with Kimmy is that she's older. So, and there is this stigma in her time where you had to have a man, no matter how terrible he is, you have to have one, which is sad, because when we get to her scene, y'all, I'm telling y'all, that scene was crazy.
That's why women need to be careful also. Just be confident in yourself and make sure that you figured out the important parts of you need to figure out before you go and date anybody. Because if somebody's not your safe space, you need to walk away. You cannot be in a healthy relationship if the person you're with does not make you feel safe in any way. It's unrealistic, woman or man. So the fact that she stays, she really needs to figure that out. And I feel like it might have something to do with Wanda, but
Wanda didn't stay with her husband. She said she got 3 men's. Long time ago.
Sometimes what people see, like I've seen a lot of people who have and come from like parents that have been married forever or raised by grandparents that were together for 50 and 60 plus years. Sometimes people see shit like that, or they'll see the opposite, which is Wanda, and then say, well, let me just stay with my person so I don't end up like my mama on husband 1, 2, 3, 4, and whichever one is
they are themselves too. It's a little different. I think it's the opposite. I think she didn't see stability. She didn't want that. And it's easy to manipulate Kimmy and Tisha. Kimmy's older. She was a single mom. She probably felt like, oh, I don't want to be single again. I know how hard it is to be a single mom. So she'd rather just deal, because my goodness, like her situation's awful. And then Tisha's like, I don't want that. But that's probably like, it's like almost like Married to Medicine, like Simone despising Quad because she went out and left the man and started thriving. That's the same way Tisha felt about Melody. Melody went out on her own. She's independent. She was able to leave and get out of it with 4 kids. Something she's afraid to do. But he's probably been manipulating her. Yo, who's going to want you with these kids? You're going to be out there on your own. You're going to be out there starting all over again. Who knows what he's telling her behind the scenes?
That's what Wanda. Sure. Y'all remember Wanda told Mel that? She told her, who going to want you with all those kids? I don't know if y'all remember that, but Wanda said that to Mel. It was like something when her and what's his name had been going through all of their stuff. They, she finally left him, and Wanda did tell Mel, Who gonna want you with all of those kids? So I do think Wanda may have said that to Tisha at some point.
That's a thing in the South that's kind of like toxic and negative. Like, I get that marriage is important and should be respected and stuff, but you don't have to stay in it if you're dealing with some shit. There's a reason divorce exists. So I don't know. I hope Tisha figures it out.
Pick me runs deep in the community. I feel like we're just now getting to the point where people are like, I'd rather be single than deal with this. Like, this is like a newfound. Like, we still have ways to go. There's too many women who still feel like, okay, I just have to have a man just to say I have a man. Like, they use it as some kind of dig. Like, look at your man. No, thank you.
Right. And that's what's so unfortunate, because y'all, I talk about this all the time about how really the self-esteem of a Black woman really does determine of your parents, because a lot of the times, you know, parents either see it as you get the advantages that they did not get, or they see you with a man that they did not have. So they either tell you to stick with it because, you know, they're like, at least he didn't whoop your ass like your daddy whooped my ass, or at least he didn't cheat on you the way my dad didn't cheat. Like, it could be other things wrong, but they will tell them, well, at least he's not doing this. And yeah, we're so far removed from like building up self-esteem for women to really be like, okay, I'm leaving regardless because I'm not being treated right. What are y'all saying in these chats? Let me go. Oh, don't we all? Miss Laura Chanel said, too many women are pushed into marriage because of the history of what marriage was created for. Very true. Hey, I don't watch the mess of a show, just supporting. Thank you. We appreciate that. Thank you so much. But yeah, I agree. So before we move on to the very last scene that's going to trigger everybody, we want to make sure y'all like the video. If you're not subscribed to all four of us, please subscribe to all four of us. We all have separate channels, all do great things on our channel. So please get that, you know, going for us. You know, we're trying to build up our momentums. We're trying to get our channels. I'm trying to get monetized. Mrs. Best, you know, trying to get monetized. Shana, you're still monetized, right? I hope YouTube ain't messing with you no more. Okay. So yeah, and Keywan, what about you? Where are you at right now with monetization?
I'm still trying to, I'm at 685.
Okay, yeah, we're trying, y'all. This YouTube stuff is not easy. It is not easy to get up here on a constant and give y'all our opinions and everything like that. So do us that one solid, like the video, subscribe to the channels. And you know what? Also, make sure you like the video on your way out. Okay, so Maurice and Kimmy, they have a couples therapy session with a therapist married couple by the name of Sonia and Derek. So the session, you know, they've had Zoom sessions with them, but this is their first time actually having an in-person session. And Derek hands them a piece of paper, and the instruction is he folds the paper in half. One half is Kimmy's, one half is Maurice's. And basically, they were supposed to come up with one objective that each of them were going to go ahead and work on. And for 1 week, or I don't know how long the timeline was for them, but they're going to have time where one person gets what they're asking for and that the other person gets what they're asking for. So Kimmy's ask was time. She wants more quality time with Maurice that may not just be physical, but just kind of intellectual and everything. And Maurice's was sex. He wants more sex. And I just said, that's all you could come up with? That's all you want? Wow, Maurice. Okay. So they're talking about how they can negotiate each other's time frame. So Maurice is trying to manipulate Kimmy into saying, okay, so can the quality time mean, you know, when you get your turn that it's sex, like we just have more sex in the quality time? And Kimmy's like, no, Maurice, that is not what that means. That means, you know, we do other things. And he goes, well, like, I don't know if I can just go without sex or anything. I just don't know, you know. And in his confessional say, you know, he enjoys sex. He thinks that sex is what makes, you know, the relationship and people compatible and things of that sort. And I'm just looking at him like, oh my God, sex is not that damn important. But Derek asked, well, would you be willing to give up your part first? And he goes, give up sex? He goes, no, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen, Doc. That's not going to happen. And Sonia asked him if he believes that, you know, more time, would that just only equal sex, or would that equal you spending more time with her? And he says that, what did he say? Because I wrote it down. He says, yes, but with Kimmy, it's 2 or 3 times a day. And, and she says, well, that seems like that's hypersexual, Maurice. And she's trying to unpack that. So when she asks him the question, where is it at? Because I'm sorry, I'm kind of going over because we could spend a whole lot of time on this scene and I don't want to rush it. But at the same time, I want to make sure I catch everything. So hold on, y'all. Maurice said he heard growing up that he can lay down more than she can stand up. And Sonya said, "Ooh, where'd you hear that from?" And we just got to pause for the cause for her face. Because Sonya said, "Oh, where did you hear that from?" And Derek asked Kimmy, "How you feel about that?" Meanwhile, her face still stuck like this. And she was like, she needs more. She needs more of a connection. She needs more of that, And Maurice was like, that's not going to happen. And Kimmy was like, well, why would you say that? And Derek was like, well, why do you need a reason? Because he just said what he said. Like, what do you need a reason for? And Kimmy's like, no, that's a negative. Like, I can't believe he said that. That's a negative thing. Like, I need more than just sex and everything. They go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth about this. And what it all boils down to is that sex is that important to Maurice that when he said double sex, it went from, in my mind, he wanted 2 or 3 times a day to now 4 to 6 when he gets his turn of the piece of paper. I don't know who needs sex that much, y'all, but when he said that he could stand up more than she could sit down, I said, whoa. Or he could lay down more than she could stand up, or something like that. It was some crazy, insane shit. Now, ladies, I have to ask all of y'all. When Maurice said that, what was your first reaction to him saying what he was told when he was younger?
I wasn't surprised at all. He was before, so just another day that's got 2.0 household.
Could your man ever come to you and say that line? And would you take it the way Kimmy took it? Ladies, I want to know, y'all. Ladies.
I'll tell him his mammy can lay down while go talk to your mammy. Don't play with me. Like, I'm sorry, I'm about to get mad because I was so aggravated.
First of all, he wouldn't be my man, but
period.
See, this is where you slide the divorce papers right there underneath that piece of paper and say, okay, well, in my week, this is what you need to sign. Because I didn't sign up to be no fuckhole. So at the end of the day, you need to go ahead and get this down because there's absolutely no way. First of all, when y'all think of the timeline of 2 or 3 times a day, which I'm sure is on the daily, that is a lot for someone to go through. Mind you, she had to go through this when she had cancer. She had to go through this in the beginning because she complained about it then. So my thing is this, Kimmy, why are you still taking this so many odd years later? Like, why, if this is such a big problem, why do you still stay?
because she knows she got him. Let's not forget that he was married when she chased him down. So she stops doing it, and he might go find somebody else.
Whatever he putting down in the bedroom, it can't be that fucking great if we doing it 2 to 3 times a day.
Well, she said
it can. There's no way that could be that great. It's given he's a sex addict, and he probably needs to go address that. It's given he was probably touched on inappropriately because a lot of men will hyper and overly sexualize themselves when they experience molestation or SA as kids. It's also given he could give a fuck about women.
Yep.
I want to lay him down so he can know what the fuck it's like to lay down. Talking about is more work to stand up than to lay down in the bedroom. I would have went upside my man's head and then politely made it to Hayward, California, because that's the courthouse in the Bay Area. You got to go if you want to file for divorce, and got my paperwork done. And if they were closed, I would have parked out, camped out. Me and the crackheads, we would have been chilling. But I would have been divorced quickly, sooner than later. It just tells you Kimmy is weak. And she went through this with cancer too.
That's where my mind got stuck. I'm like, because she was complaining because when they showed that flash, I had forgot about that, y'all. I really did. I had forgot all about that. And when she was in that car complaining about the sex ain't for me, it's for you. I was like, why are you still having sex? Is the question.
How did
Why
you
is
feel about that?
well, because I don't care about them too much to really remember something so heinous. But that reminded me very quickly that I remember the interview he had did. I remember everything started coming back to me, especially when the fans were in uproar about him doing that. Because a lot of people listen to y'all. Y'all, cancer is a very sensitive thing, as you guys know. My father passed away from cancer last year, and I could only like imagine like the stress you already have on top of your spouse coming to you saying, "Hey, I still need to do our 2 or 3 times a day." Like, wow. And then she's in, she's in remission. And I mean, how long? I mean, when did she have cancer? Okay, well, maybe she's out of it now. But I'm just thinking, like, still, like, she had to go through all that, and then you still want her to do it, and she's telling you, "Hey, no, we need to back back a little bit. I am tired," and I know she's tired, y'all. There's only so many baths you can take. Like, there's only so much soaking you can do. Like, I know she got to be hurt, and I know it got to hurt. That's why she like, "Hey, I got to lay it up off of this." But
I'm
they
curious
didn't,
to know what happens when she declines sex. I would
and
love
that.
to fly on the wall because that
Mm-hmm.
also seems like greed.
Yeah.
But
Yes. But then it makes me wonder about the DUI thing. Like, because to your point, when she says no, does that mean you go around the corner to Boo Boo house and y'all go and do it? Because you still need to get that out?
She probably doesn't say no. And then she still has to cook and clean because he doesn't think men should wash dishes. He won't teach his son to be self-sufficient because he thinks it's a woman's job. He won't cook. He won't help with homework. So she has to do all of that stuff on top of this.
Maurice is a disgusting human being if I ever seen it. I think at some point we all thought that Maurice was the more decent man on the show, but he is really. I used to think he was more decent, but he is more disgusting. Like he's wherever I put Martell.
Kimmy season 1 that Maurice is the same as Marcel. And if he made her wait 7 years and all that stuff to even marry her, then clearly there was something going on in that household.
And
Well, to me,
I'm sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was saying to me, Maurice reminds me of some of the kid who got the light skin privilege if he had darker siblings. And a lot of the times, depending on how your household was, especially in the South, colorism is still a big thing. And to me, it kind of gives that he probably got out of a lot of shit. He probably did a lot of shit, and because he was probably so cute to his parents, that meant that he didn't have to really face accountability, because it shows in his adult life. It shows that he doesn't have to be accountable, because there's no way you would say that to me in front of people we're trying to get counsel from. There's no way that your behavior says, I'm going to say this ignorant line that I know from back in my day because it sounds like something I should be practicing today. There's no way you felt that comfortable enough to say that in front of your wife and think that there should be no repercussion for that. That's people supposed to either laugh that off or take you serious, even though you just insulted your wife and probably every other woman who is watching this that actually cares about the show.
It also, to me, says something about, and I could be all on the fence on my own by myself, but it says something about Kimmy's self-esteem. Like, why are you still with him? Why? What is it? I think Ms. Beth just said that. Like, why? To me, it just says, her self-esteem is a little bit in hell, a little bit.
It has to be, because I can't look at Maurice and get moist. I can't look at him and even have to pee. I can't look at him and create any form of liquid to come out of me. It's not going to work. So I'm like, there's always some nasty looking Negro like himself that has the audacity to expect sex around the clock.
Who probably
like a naked mole rat, and you want it round the clock.
Like when Kimmy first got with him, or when he used to be chunky, like, ugh, Lord, y'all fighting over these the men y'all fighting again.
Right.
But
Jesus.
I think Kimmy she was a mistress turned wife, allegedly. So I feel like she got
karma
to prove a point. No matter how.
Okay, because Kyle could be like, yeah, take them. Good, thank you. Goodbye. Yeah, because that's exactly how I feel now watching this scene. I don't think Kiowa would, because a lot of people felt like Kiowa was jealous and trying to come up. I feel like Kiowa was pushing him towards her because she probably got tired of that shit. Because,
You
when we.
that he
Hmm?
was a pastor. This is the one who was a pastor, right?
Yes.
Who was a
Yes.
pastor?
Maurice. Maurice
See,
used to be a
come on,
pastor.
me show. This why I
Mhm.
be. This why I don't take my black ass to church. This is exactly why. Because the same person that's gonna anoint you in the name of Jesus and get you into them pearly gates, as we so think, is the same motherfucker telling their wife that it's easier for her to lay down than it is for him to stand up.
Child, he must have been ordained from ICDC college. Maurice makes me sick, y'all. I
What
can.
year was he a pastor?
Mhm.
It
Huh?
was, when did that happen? What year was that?
I
Yeah.
don't remember, but I remember that he used to be a barber. He used to be a pastor. These are before he had these upstanding careers that they have today. So I don't know how far back from the show it was, but oh, that's even worse.
Yeah, I'm
That's even worse.
Deacon makes sense. We knew about the barber thing because Kimmy said when she told on herself and let everybody know she was a mistress, like we knew she was. She said
Mhm.
she chased the man down. Like you went after this man.
Yeah. So yeah, but I'm gonna mention the last part. They did make a correlation because the Derek he wanted to get more into Maurice like because they feel that it's hypersexual. How did you soothe yourself? I think Sonia asked the question, how did you soothe yourself? And he didn't want to answer the question, and Kimmy had to remind him, you remember the magazine that was at the top of y'all at the bathroom? You remember your magazine? He goes, oh yeah, the magazine. And I'm like, Kimmy, obviously that's something he didn't want to talk about. So now he has to laugh the shit off. You can always tell when somebody don't want to talk about something, they laugh and make it a joke and something. There's obviously something with that he didn't want to go back over. But he explains that, he had to self-soothe from that. He also explained that their dad had put a lock on the refrigerator because initially there was a lot of kids and he got tired of them going in the refrigerator and he had to make food spread out. So, because if I'm not mistaken, I think there's 10 of them total of kids. If I'm not mistaken, it's either 8 or 10. It's one, but I know it's like one of that. So, what happened, Shane?
I think they said it's 10.
There's 10 kids, yeah. So so he said that he was embarrassed. He said a lot of, his childhood was embarrassment. He would have friends over, they would see it, they would laugh at him. So I think what it is for me, and this is how I'm gonna kind of look at it, I feel like he was a kid that got teased a lot for a lot of different reasons and used sex as a way to numb the subconscious of him either being bullied or him being talked about or maybe his weight or anything. Like, because a lot of men do that. A lot of men use sex as a way to build confidence, and it's really ridiculous. And when it doesn't work, they overkill. They do it even more. So to me, it kind of feels like your confidence was killed. And the only way you feel like you're superior or you're confident is when you're doing it. The only thing is, I don't think you've had a woman hurt your feelings and say it wasn't good. That's the only thing.
Kimmy,
So
it wasn't good this episode. She just said it nicely. She said it would be so much more enjoyable if we ain't do it every day or whatever she said. It would be so much more pleasurable all the time.
she is tired.
She's tired.
She's very tired. It's just one of them. It's one of them situations where it was like, to me, she gave me a visual that I did not need. Like, to me, she was kind of saying without saying, he just pull my pants down and get to penetrating and we done. That's what she was telling me. There was no kissing up. There was no foreplay. There was none of that.
Is if you know the reason, because you're the one pointing out, tell them about the magazine, tell them about this. Like, so you know the reason to why he is this way. This man ain't gonna go to nobody's therapy unless you right there with him and the cameras in his face. So that lets you know it's not gonna change. So it's gonna be a thing. Though I don't like what he said and he did piss me off, I don't feel sorry for her. I just don't. I would say it for a couple seasons. I used to love Kimmy, but I think a couple seasons ago, I start to kind of look at her like a pick-me with extremely low self-esteem, who probably just has that ignorant mindset. Well, I'm at this age now, so I'm just gonna have to make it work. But I don't feel sorry for her based on how she got with him, what she's going through, and her choosing to stay, especially after that whole cancer situation. Like, what are we supposed to do? So now y'all don't want to talk about shit on the show, but now you done been made a fool of because these fools done went viral all over the internet and all over social media and all over the place, all because he made this ignorant statement. So now she sees like, okay, nobody agrees with this. Nobody views this as healthy. Nobody views this as okay. And I promise y'all, she's gonna be at that reunion defending his statement and trying to come at us like we don't understand trauma and stuff. People go through things all the time. A lot of families lock the refrigerator. My household was like that growing up because there was a lot of kids in our family and there was always a cousin or somebody over. They would lock that bitch down because if you don't, they will run through your food. So I'm like, it's giving, especially hearing how overweight Maurice has been throughout the years, it's giving you might have just eaten too damn much and you view some structure as a kid as something negative. I think something more happened with that magazine. I just do. I truly believe that in my heart because that is not normal.
No.
To pass around the magazine, getting mad at each other about the nudie magazine, as he calls it. Like none of it is normal. They need to get off TV.
One of the things I really did see, the control that dad had in that house with the whole refrigerator, that's the same control Maurice has over Kimmy, and that's the same control Marceau does with Tisha. Mm-hmm. And it was something else I wanted to say, but we'll circle back because I just see the patterns. It's bad, and what aggravates me is that those two men act like they can't see their father in themselves or the control that they have. I sometimes we can do things and we don't see it. Like we don't know it's happening, but with them, I feel like they know what they're doing.
Oh, of course.
They know what they're doing.
She said you can't self-reflect and all these things. Like, I mean, I always thought Kimmy was a pick-me. She's more tolerable earlier on, but the signs were always there. She's always known that she's a pick-me from season 1. But she felt like she's older. She looks great now. She probably don't want to give up the money now because they got the money from the show. Because otherwise, it makes no sense for her to say with him, y'all don't have no kids. Y'all got to divvy up nothing. Like you don't have to say in this. Like you look better now than you did season 1. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I feel like she does kind of tell him, but is he going to listen? No. His brother even told him, but he's not listening to him. Everybody's been telling him, like, you're not this great person. We know who you are. The cat's out the bag. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I knew this in season 1. There was something about him that rubbed me wrong. I wish I had my channel then because I would have explained it a little bit better in season 1. But it was just like, it was something about him. I think because we were so distracted with Martell and what was going on with him and Melody that we really weren't paying too much attention. And then, of course, with Marceau and not knowing his child was allergic to peanut butter, I think we were so distracted that the first comment that we saw about him not being able to put a plate on the table really wasn't the factor when we think of the other two men being ain't shit as well. And theirs being a little bit more deeper than his. You get what I'm saying? Like, so I think that's why a lot of people didn't pay attention to that. But no, to me, yeah, I do agree with you. I feel like they don't want to see themselves as their father because their father was horrible at them. But you guys understand you're a product of your environment. A lot of the things that you do when you try to run from something, you'll run right into it because you're not aware, or you are aware. You just choose to look in a different direction because you just don't know any better. So, and I'm glad you should have said this out loud. Say it out loud. It is your comment.
Oh, the fact that he when we found out he was mistreating Jalen, that was another thing. That's what I wanted to say earlier, but I just.
No, okay. I'm glad you said it because I was thinking that's what you was talking about.
She still stayed. And we just was talking, like, I don't know if this was last season or early on in the show. Whenever Jalen came on and then Jalen started, kind of getting close to Marceau, like, you stayed through all of that. All of that.
The fact that they use the son for a storyline, like, not only did you do it, now you're using him years later as a storyline. Like, what are we doing?
Did they ever?
See, that's why I can't feel bad for her either. Why would you are a willing participant in this? You signed up for this. Your child was already grown when you married this man. So at this point, you're not a single mom raising a child anymore. The child's grown. So why else are you doing this? No, I can't feel bad for you.
Did they ever consider or mention Jalen's biological father? Like, did they ever talk about him on the show at any point? I don't recall ever knowing about him.
But so I did see somewhere that allegedly his daddy was married to somebody too.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it's true or not, but if it's true, then this is just what Kimmy does. So
yeah, we're gonna say allegedly for the channel, but that actually makes a lot of sense when you think about because I was like, why isn't his father ever come around? Why don't we know the background of that? Like, why don't we know certain circumstances? Were you married before or anything? We just don't know too much of Kimmy's past other than, where she's from. And, yeah. So I just felt that was weird that never came up. And I was like, well, maybe it did. I just don't remember it.
I guess what little bit of ounce of feeling bad I had for Kimmy, now that we've explained it, I'm with y'all. I don't feel bad for her.
Because she has the willpower and the resources to leave the situation. The thing about it is, I could see if she was stranded, broke, had nothing but the hair on her head and a busted up, Mitsubishi in the garage. I could see if it was something like that. That can maybe make a person stay a little bit longer because they have to get themselves together. Kimmy has a whole bunch of shit to fall back on. She has an active real estate license. She has the tax program thing. She has the she does the kitchen shit, the food, meal prepping business. She is a nurse, and let's not forget, active licensed nurse.
I would have never liked her scene. I'm sorry. Ew, I just wouldn't.
Well, she probably invested all these years, and so she doesn't want to leave. Instead of looking at it like, I wasted all these years, let me not waste any more time. She probably feels like, okay, well, I stayed this long, I might as well stay now.
That's crazy, though.
But that is crazy because at the end of the day, you haven't been married to him that long. So it just, what are you salvaging?
But she probably factoring all the time she's been with him. They already had bought a house before they got married. She's been with him for years. He was helping her raise her child, even though the son don't even have no relationship with him. But a lot of people look at it like, I don't want to throw all that time away. Tisha's the same way.
Not when you explain it like that, Shana. Kimmy needs a divorce and run.
Or maybe she's the breadwinner. She's scared he's gonna take her for alimony.
Can he do that?
Yeah, technically. Yeah, she may.
Convince her to quit her job. Her source of income, which is nursing. So he convinced her to quit that. Maybe he did that too, because they like those Scott men, like, they have control. They want the women making less so they can be in control financially. So they won't.
She stays with him because of the show. Like, something all of this cast has in common. They all think that they are bigger than they actually are in terms of fame and reality TV. I'm not even being petty and messy, even though I don't like the show, but that's how they behave. Yeah. And you could see a huge difference in her personality and how she behaves on the show and moves from season 1 to now, especially the upgrade with the hair, the makeup, and the clothes. So I do feel like she may stay with him because staying with him helps her on the show. Maybe she don't want to deal with what she put Mel through after her separation. You never know. But either way, the Scotts, in their mind, I feel like they know they suck. I feel like they know their marriages are a fucking joke. I feel like they know that we're watching this show really just hoping that it improves. Nobody, no shade, really cares about marriages this fucked up, but we shall see. Kimmy ain't going nowhere, though.
Nope.
So Charlene Wheeler says that the house belongs to Kimmy. Maurice had nothing.
Oh, wow.
So I gotta put her face back. So Kimmy, what's really going on here?
I know
because
they had moved since him moving in with her to another house together. Like, they said they got that. If they did get that house together, then she's a fool. Because why are you buying property with somebody you weren't married to?
Right.
But I mean, I definitely think the show plays a part because they all look different after the seasons. That's what every reality show. But
yeah, true.
We don't know how old she is, but I think she's probably pushing 60. She can definitely find somebody else.
She looked good.
She looked great for her age. Yeah, I would have thought her and Tisha were the same age. Like, I would never have put that age up on Kimmy like that. But
but she probably, if your mental isn't right and you think, she probably still sees herself how she used to look. She don't think she can find nobody else. I don't know why. She's just gonna say.
Well, Sonia, if you do private sessions, I need you to get Kimmy together and and maybe make this face a little bit more after every sentence Kimmy say. Maybe make this face a little bit more because you were the MVP of the episode, Miss Sonia. I have to let you know you were the MVP because I'm like you. I couldn't have kept a straight face for that either. Like, there's absolutely no way I would have been able to keep a straight face for that because I would have did that. My face would probably been worse than that because there's no way you were, Kimmy and Nell are a year apart, 54, 50. I thought Nell was in her 60s. She only, okay.
That's why I don't like how Tisha tried to age shame. Like, why do you keep age shaming?
Tisha, your future is to look like Wanda. Leave people alone who are in old age. Because if that's the future that you got, then you need to leave everybody alone. And even Wanda has a neck, but Tisha don't have a neck and she don't have Wanda face in 24 years. So she needs to leave everybody alone. And I know Nell be looking crazy on this show. Her wigs is big as hell. Her eyebrows be dark as hell. However, Nell to me look better without makeup and she can do it. I feel like Tisha needed. She is age shaming. I don't like when people do that.
For sure she is. We all know that.
But it's like the age shaming and it's y'all close to everybody. Everybody's over 40. It doesn't make sense to age shame. Like this makes no sense. Kimmy is the same. So aren't you taking a dig at Kimmy and they're the same age? And Kimmy's sitting there co-signing it.
Which is embarrassing for her because, ma'am, you gonna get your AARP card before she does. So what are we talking about here?
Ooh, leave food. See, she took the words out of my mouth. Got that BBL and got beside herself. She did.
Okay, so Kimmy is the same age as my mom. Okay, got it. Okay. So that was pretty much the episode. So next week's episode, y'all, Wanda is back. I'm not looking forward to that, to be honest with y'all. I'm not, because I feel like Wanda finna do the most. I didn't like that comment she made about Nell. I thought that was crazy for her to even say that. So are y'all looking forward to next week's episode?
Yeah, Wanda, my girl. Y'all know I like crass people sometimes, and Wanda is one of them. But I may have to be on Nell's side because the way it was going, and then when Tisha went around to her mom, and I'm looking at her like, you wanted your mom to come. Yeah, I can't wait. Bet you she ain't jump up at Wanda.
Pop Wanda in her bottom lip. I really do, because she's the age she can get away with it. Nobody else on this cast can get away with talking to Wanda the way that she needs to be spoken to. So I hope, Nell, you talked about you was about to show us what you was going to do with Kimmy.
Well, she was finna show Kimmy, yeah. When she said, I'm going to throw you in that pool, she got up on Kimmy. Nell looked like she fought. Nell looked like she fought a whole bunch of times in life. She do. Like, she gives me, like, she didn't, I don't know, she fought over Chris. Whoever Lance's real father is, I feel like she done fought a whole bunch over that. I do. So yeah, that's what she gave me. She gave me somebody when she was in her 20s. She was a whole mess. So yeah, because you can't tell me that the way Nell got up like that and was ready to fight. Yeah, Nell looked like she was really about it in her older times, But that's it, y'all. It was a very triggering episode. I had to have y'all with me because overall, I'm glad for a couple reasons. One, y'all helped me. This is therapeutic for me, so I appreciate you guys taking your time to really be here for me through a really rough time for me. So I really appreciate all of you so much, you guys. Once again, all of their informations are in my description box. Please do me that solid. Subscribe to all 4 channels. We are trying to do this thing. 2026 is here. We all should be getting a wealthy check from YouTube because we put in a lot of work and man hours for this. So overall, please subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to all 4 of us. Like the video. I will definitely be having these ladies on my channel again, hopefully sometime soon, because this was a lot of fun to do. But ladies, any last words before we head out?
I just want to say thank you. Thank y'all for having me on. And yeah, that's all.
Oh, you're most welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yes. I have to read this comment before we leave, y'all. I hope Nell call out them nasty baked chitlin potatoes and possum pie Wanda be cooking. We appreciate you. Thank you for just finding me. I hope you subscribe to me, my love. That was funny. I'm sorry. That made my night. That did. That was hilarious. What were you saying, Shana? I am so sorry.
Oh, no. I was just thanking you for having me up.
Oh, of course. Anytime. Well, you guys, We're going to go ahead and end the night. I hope everyone is safe. Have a great, happy new year. Set your goals, set your intentions, set your visions. May I hope they all come to fruition. I love each and every one of you, and I will see you on my next live. Bye, guys.